Welcome everyone to this exploration. Today, we're diving into a very unique landscape in Alicante, the old farmland, now scattered with centuries-old towers. We'll look at what they were, why they were built, and, well, what condition they're in today.
Exactly. And we'll make a special stop at a story that feels almost like a film. The story of Santiago Tower. A tower that, quite literally, rose from its own rubble, thanks to the determination of one man, Pedro Guillena.
That's right. We'll dig a little into who Pedro Guillena was, what motivated him to take on such a singular reconstruction, and how his passion not only saved a building, but also gave us an incredible connection to Roman Alicante. That's thanks to an important donation to the Archaeological Museum, the Mark. So today, our mission is to understand these fortifications, the adventure of Santiago Tower, and, well, their importance for Alicante's heritage. We're talking about the defensive towers built across Alicante's farmland. Most of them were erected between the 15th and 17th centuries, right?
Yes, mainly in that period. And the reason, fear. A very real fear that came from the sea. Their purpose was to protect the farming communities from Berber pirate raids, which were a constant threat along the Mediterranean coast.
So they were essential for people's safety?
Absolutely. And their placement wasn't random. They were built strategically, close to the main roads of the time. Think of the old road from Gijona, leading inland toward Játiva and Valencia, or the coastal road through Villajoyosa, also toward Valencia. They formed a network, you see?
A network? So they weren't just isolated towers scattered around. I imagine there were different types, depending on their purpose.
Exactly. There was a clear typology. There were watchtowers, obviously, along the coast, to spot the enemy and raise the alarm.
The ones that gave the warning.
Right. Then there were refuge towers, a bit further inland, where farmers nearby could quickly take shelter.
I see.
And finally, the defensive towers proper. They also worked as refuges, but they were built to withstand combat.
With weapons and all?
Yes, with battlements, arrow slits, loopholes for muskets, even small embrasures for light artillery. They were like miniature fortresses.
Wow! Imagining that farmland as a place under constant threat, that's intense.
Yes, life back then couldn't have been easy.
And how many of these towers have survived? Because as farmland, from what I've read, this called La Huerta de Alicante has almost disappeared, swallowed by the city.
Well, according to the records, there were as many as 43 towers documented.
43?
Yes. Today, still standing, we estimate about 25 remain.
But that's not bad.
Not bad, but it could be better. Most are within Alicante itself, about 18 of them, especially in the areas of La Condomina and La Albufereta.
Which today are residential neighborhoods, of course, completely integrated into the city. But there are also towers in San Juan, Muchamiel, at El Campello. And, well, all the surviving ones are listed as they call Bien de Interés Cultural, BIC, which means they're under the highest level of protection.
The reality, though, is that some are in worrying condition. They're deteriorating. It's a struggle to keep them standing.
That's a shame. And among those 25 survivors, let's focus on one in particular, Santiago Tower in La Albufereta. Its recent history is, well, fascinating. Before 1982, apparently, it was practically just an empty lot.
Yes, little more than a pile of stones. The accounts say that only the corner blocks were left standing, like ghosts of what once was.
My goodness.
And that's where he comes in, Don Pedro Guillena Gómez, an Andalusian who settled in Alicante. He had been the director of the Hotel Playa in Playa de San Juan, which no longer exists. And he was described as a very restless, curious man, fond of painting, archaeology, history, music, almost like a modern-day Renaissance man.
And what would lead a retired hotel director with all those hobbies to buy some ruins and take on the reconstruction of a 16th century tower? That doesn't sound like the typical idea of a quiet seaside retirement.
Well, funnily enough, the initial idea wasn't so epic. Guillena bought the plot, which was part of a larger estate called Finca Santiago, sold by the heirs of the Boades family. And he bought it simply thinking of building himself a small studio, something modest.
A studio? To paint, or...?
Yes, or for his hobbies. He lived in a penthouse on La Rambla, right in the city center, and it seems the noise and chaos of the city wore him down. He was looking for peace and quiet, a personal retreat, nothing more.
That's remarkable. So he starts out just wanting a little studio for some peace and ends up rebuilding a historic tower and making it his home.
Exactly.
Quite the change of plans. And how did that reconstruction go? Did he try to make it resemble the original?
Well, it was very much his own project, very personal. He completed it around 1990, and he timed it symbolically with the 500th anniversary of Alicante being granted city status.
Like a tribute?
Yes, his own tribute. The tower we see today has a ground floor and 3 upper levels, and at the top, a terrace. That terrace, for example, he rebuilt inspired by another nearby tower, Les Paulines.
So it's not exactly the same as the original?
No. It's built of masonry with reinforced stone corners and a small sloped base, which is typical of these towers. There's even a local tale about a blocked-off tunnel in the basement that once connected it to the neighboring tower, Torre Santiago.
Local legends, right?
Yes. But the important point is that Guillena himself admitted the rebuilt tower had little to do with the original ruin he had found.
Wow.
It was more his vision, his interpretation of what a tower should be.
So it's more of a historical reimagining, almost a fantasy, rather than a faithful restoration.
You could put it that way, yes.
And yet, it still achieved official recognition as a BIC.
Yes. Despite that artistic license, it was recognized as recovered heritage. In April 1997, it was declared a cultural heritage site, or bien de interés cultural. And today, according to the sources, it's in excellent condition.
Well, that's good news.
Yes, it's held up as an example of conservation, especially when compared with painful losses in Alicante. It shows that even if a reconstruction isn't purist, it can still be better than losing everything to the wrecking ball.
Absolutely.
But Guillena's story doesn't end with the tower itself. It goes further. He had a very special relationship with the archaeological museum called the Mark.
Oh.
He's called a good friend of the museum. They say he had membership card number 01.
That's about as early as it gets.
Exactly. And that shows another side of him, the philanthropist, the heritage advocate. He didn't just rebuild for himself, he also donated. And what a donation. At the end of 1986, while already working on the tower, he handed over some pieces he had found.
On the land of the tower?
Yes, or on the estate. A set of pieces that turned out to be extremely valuable, crucial for understanding Roman Alicante.
And one piece in particular was especially spectacular, wasn't it?
Exactly. The crown jewel of that donation was part of a Roman funerary altar, an ara.
Okay.
But not just any ara. It bore an inscription, the epitaph, of a man named Publius Fulvius Asclas.
And who was he?
Here's the amazing part. He was a Pompeian. From Pompeii.
From Pompeii?
In Alicante.
Yes.
Someone who lived in Lucentum, Roman Alicante, before the eruption of Vesuvius in 79 AD.
No way.
His epitaph, discovered there thanks to Guillena's project, is direct physical evidence that people from Pompeii lived here before the catastrophe.
That's astonishing.
Today you can see that piece at the Mark in the Roman Gallery.
It's moving to think of that connection.
Truly incredible.
To think that one man's personal project to rebuild a medieval tower ended up revealing a direct link with Pompeii. It's just
a twist of history, right?
Exactly. And beyond his tower and that remarkable donation, the records also say Guillena was a defender of all the Huerta towers, not just his own.
That's right. He didn't stop at his project. His ongoing commitment is emphasized again and again. He raised his voice for all that heritage, for the entire landscape of Alicante's farmland, which he loved so deeply. He understood its historical value and fought to keep it from disappearing completely.
You can tell he was a special person.
Yes, he's described as a man tied to literature, to ancient art, to music, to history. The profile of a patron, yes, but also a cultural activist.
So if we connect the dots, the story of Santiago Tower and Pedro Guillena is much more than just a reconstruction. There's something greater behind it.
Absolutely. It's a clear example of how one individual's initiative, one person's passion, can have a huge impact on preserving heritage. In a context where we so often lament what's been lost, the buildings that collapse, this case shines like a beacon. It shows it can be done. That commitment from individuals matters.
These towers are like silent witnesses to over 4 centuries of Alicante's history, a very different life, marked by that constant danger from the sea. And Guillena's work not only saved one of them from complete ruin, but also, almost by chance, gave us that window into the Roman past with his donation to the Mark. It's a double legacy.
Totally. And it's fascinating to see today's paradox, isn't it? These towers were built to defend a rural world of farmland and fields. And now most of them stand in the middle of the city.
Yes.
Many of them in what's now District 4 of Alicante, Albufereta, Condomina, Santa Faz, all urban residential areas.
Silent witnesses of how everything has changed.
Exactly. Santiago Tower itself, which Guillena rebuilt in search of countryside silence, is now in a very well-connected, fast-growing urban area.
The irony of it.
Total irony, yes. Well, let's recap. We've traveled from the original defensive role of the Huerta towers against pirate raids to the incredible rebirth of Santiago Tower by Pedro Guillena Gómez, who turned ruins into his home. And we've discovered how that personal adventure unexpectedly uncovered an archaeological treasure linking Alicante with Pompeii, now housed in the Mark.
The big lesson, perhaps, is the enormous value of preserving our past. An effort that sometimes, as in this case, depends on the vision and the stubbornness, really, of just one person.
Yes, couldn't agree more. And that leaves us with a question, a final reflection, I think. Now that these historic towers, symbols of a rural, defensive past, coexist as best they can with the modern city that swallowed the farmland, what future awaits the ones still standing, especially those in worse condition?
Right.
And what can we learn from stories like that of Pedro Guillena and Santiago Tower